top 10 richest countries by GDP per capita. When we talk about the world's richest countries, we often think of economic giants like the US or China. But if you look at GDP per capita, the average economic output per person, the map of global wealth looks very different. Today we're diving into the 2026 rankings to see which nations offer the highest average prosperity on Earth, from financial powerhouses to resource-rich microstates. Let's count down the top 10 richest countries by GDP per capita. You will be surprised by number 1.
Number 10. The Netherlands. By 2026, the Netherlands is projected to reach a nominal GDP per capita of approximately $77,900, securing its position as the 10th richest nation globally. This economic stature is primarily driven by its role as a premier global logistics and commerce hub, where it leverages a strategic geographic location to facilitate massive volumes of international trade and finance. As a core member of the European Union, the Netherlands is a high-income, developed economy with a projected nominal GDP of roughly 1.18 trillion euros by 2026. Its economic engine is remarkably active, with more than half of its enterprises engaged in the export of goods or services, reinforcing its status as one of the world's largest trading entities. The nation's prosperity is deeply rooted in high-productivity regional clusters and a significant concentration of global corporate power. Specific regions like North Holland and Utrecht are among the wealthiest in the EU, with regional GDPs per capita estimated at 69,900 euros and 64,900 euros respectively. Furthermore, the Netherlands serves as headquarters for 10 of the world's 500 largest corporations by revenue. A notable example is the automotive giant Stellantis, which is headquartered in Hoofddorp and reports annual revenues exceeding $169.6 billion. While the country is a producer of North Sea oil, its wealth is also influenced by its attractiveness as a corporate base, occasionally involving specialized tax structures that draw multinational firms to maintain a nominal presence. Beyond raw economic output, the Netherlands maintains a balanced economic profile, characterized by fiscal stability and a high quality of life. It ranks 8th globally on the HelloSafe Prosperity Index with a score of 58.17, a metric that accounts for income equality, poverty rates, and human development alongside traditional GDP. The country's fiscal health is robust, featuring a manageable public debt of 45.1% of GDP, and a low unemployment rate of approximately 3.7%. While its nominal GDP is high, its gross national income, or GNI, which measures the income that actually stays with residents, is estimated at $62,800 per capita. This figure, combined with a Gini coefficient of 26.3, underscores a society with relatively low income inequality and a consistently high standard of living for its population.
Number 9. Denmark. By 2026, Denmark is projected to solidify its status as one of the world's premier high-income nations, with a nominal GDP per capita reaching approximately $82,700. This placement at 9th in the global wealth rankings is anchored by a sophisticated, diversified economy that prioritizes high-productivity regional clusters. Specifically, the capital region of Denmark remains an economic powerhouse within the European Union, boasting a regional GDP per capita of 70,100 euros, which represents 175% of the EU 27 average. Unlike many of its neighbors, Denmark maintains its own currency, the Danish krone, while operating as a vital part of the EU's internal market. Its wealth is not merely a product of general trade, but is specifically driven by a robust high-tech industrial sector and advanced services that allow it to punch far above its weight on the global stage. The Danish economic model is defined by exceptional fiscal health and a balanced approach to prosperity that few other nations can match. By 2026, Denmark is expected to maintain a public surplus of 3.3% of its GDP, a rarity among developed nations, while keeping its public debt remarkably low at 33.6%. This fiscal discipline is complemented by a gross national income per capita of $73,800, which indicates that a significant portion of the wealth generated within its borders remains in the hands of its residents. This stands in contrast to tax haven models, where GDP is often inflated by corporate profit shifting. In Denmark, the wealth is deeply integrated into the domestic economy. Furthermore, the nation ranks 7th globally on the Hello Safe Prosperity Index with a score of 65.43, a metric that moves beyond raw output to include quality of life factors such as life expectancy and educational attainment. At the heart of Denmark's success is a remarkably equitable economy that ensures high living standards are not concentrated in the hands of a few, but distributed across the population. This is evidenced by a Gini coefficient of 27.7, reflecting one of the lowest levels of income inequality in the world. The Danish labor market remains resilient, with unemployment rates historically maintained at low levels, such as 5.1% in 2023, even as the global economy faced external shocks. By combining a high Human Development Index, HDI, with strong social systems, Denmark proves that economic competitiveness and social welfare can coexist. This unique blend of renewable energy initiatives, specialized manufacturing, and an advanced social model ensures that the average Danish citizen experiences a level of prosperity that is as stable as it is high.
Number 8. USA. By 2026, the United States occupies a unique position in the global economic hierarchy, serving as a diversified colossus that commands more than a quarter of the entire global GDP. With a projected nominal GDP of approximately $31.8 to $32.4 trillion, it remains the world's largest economy, a title it has held consistently since the period between the two world wars. Despite this overwhelming aggregate power, the nation's large population traditionally acts as a mathematical anchor, typically keeping it lower on per capita rankings where microstates like Luxembourg or micronations like Liechtenstein dominate. However, for 2026, the U.S. has managed to defy this size penalty to secure a firm spot in the top 10 richest nations per person, reaching an impressive projected nominal GDP per capita of approximately $92,900 to $94,430. This ascent into the per capita elite is primarily fueled by extraordinary productivity within the technology and financial sectors. As a global leader in high-value industries, the U.S. economy leverages a massive internal market to sustain diversified high-output activities that few other large nations can match. While many of the countries ranking above it on per capita lists are specialized financial hubs or resource-rich microstates, the American model is a multi-sectoral powerhouse that combines world-leading innovation in tech with deep-rooted financial influence. This structural strength is reflected in a projected 2026 growth rate of roughly 2.32%, allowing the U.S. to outpace several other advanced G7 economies such as Germany, Japan, and France. To gauge the true quality of this wealth, analysts look toward gross national income, or GNI, which measures the income that actually stays with a country's residents. The U.S. maintains a high GNI per capita of approximately $83,600, Atlas method, signifying that its wealth is largely generated and retained by domestic entities rather than being inflated by foreign profit shifting, a common distortion seen in other top-ranking nations like Ireland. However, it remains a critical caveat that these figures represent averages, which can be boosted by extremely high incomes at the top, often masking significant levels of income inequality within the population. Regardless of these internal disparities, the U.S. is projected to maintain its status as the world's leading economic superpower well into the 2030s, firmly establishing itself as a permanent fixture in the top tier of global prosperity.
Number 7. Norway. By 2026, Norway is projected to reach a nominal GDP per capita of approximately $96,600, securing its position as the 7th richest nation in the world. This immense wealth is fundamentally driven by the nation's massive oil and gas resources, which continue to serve as the primary engine for its high-income economy. With a relatively small population of roughly 5.5 million people, the substantial revenues generated from North Sea hydrocarbon exports result in a disproportionately high average economic output per resident. This prosperity is remarkably well retained within the country. Norway's gross national income, or GNI, is estimated at $98,300 per capita, a figure nearly identical to its GDP, which indicates that very little of its wealth is lost to foreign profit outflows. Norway is frequently distinguished as the world's most balanced economy, a status reflected in its top ranking on the Hello Safe Prosperity Index for 2026, where it scored 77.65 out of 100. Unlike many other high-income nations where wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few, the Norwegian model successfully pairs extreme national wealth with exceptionally low levels of inequality and strong social welfare systems. This balanced approach ensures that prosperity is broadly felt across the population, characterized by low poverty rates and high scores on the Human Development Index, or HDI, which factors in life expectancy and educational attainment alongside raw income. Consequently, while it may rank 7th in nominal per capita GDP, it is considered the most successful nation in translating economic output into genuine resident well-being. On the global stage, Norway remains a critical energy pillar, serving as one of the largest suppliers of crude oil and natural gas to the European Union. This strategic energy wealth provides a fiscal stability that allows the nation to maintain high living standards even amid global economic volatility. However, prospective visitors and businesses should be aware that this high level of prosperity is accompanied by a significant cost of living, which can often temper the domestic purchasing power of its high nominal earnings when compared to countries with lower local prices. Nevertheless, by utilizing its natural resources to fund a robust, advanced social model, Norway serves as a global exemplar of how a resource-rich nation can achieve long-term economic and social equilibrium.
Number 6. Singapore. By 2026, Singapore is projected to achieve a nominal GDP per capita of approximately $99,000, firmly establishing itself as the 6th richest nation on Earth. This extraordinary economic standing is driven by its status as a premier finance and trade hub, serving as the primary gateway for global commerce in Asia. As a small nation with a population that is economically big for its size, Singapore leverages a highly specialized economy that attracts outsized banking sectors and investment funds through favorable regulatory and tax regimes. By concentrating wealth through these high-value global services, the city-state generates a massive GDP that, when divided among its relatively small population, yields a level of average prosperity that few larger nations can match. The true extent of Singapore's economic dominance is most evident when adjusting for purchasing power parity, PPP, a metric that accounts for cost of living differences and reflects real standard of living. In these rankings, Singapore often rivals or surpasses Luxembourg for the #1 spot globally, with a projected PPP-adjusted GDP per capita reaching between $156,000 and $160,000 international dollars. This suggests that while its nominal wealth is staggering, its residents possess the world's highest real purchasing power because their income stretches further domestically than in other high-cost nations like Switzerland. This PPP advantage highlights a unique economic equilibrium where high productivity in the tech and finance sectors translates into immense individual buying power on the global stage. Despite these record-breaking figures, a sophisticated business analysis reveals important nuances regarding how this wealth is distributed and retained. Singapore's gross national income per capita is estimated at a more modest $74,800 Atlas method, a figure that more accurately reflects the income staying with local residents rather than the total output generated by the massive presence of foreign multinational corporations.
Additionally, while Singapore ranks 6th globally on the Hello Safe Prosperity Index with a score of 66.43, it is notably the only non-European country in the top 10 and is occasionally marked down for higher inequality levels compared to its Nordic peers. Nevertheless, its resilience as a diversified colossus of innovation and trade ensures it remains a permanent fixture among the world's economic elite through 2026 and into the next decade. Number 5. Iceland. By 2026, Iceland is projected to reach an extraordinary nominal GDP per capita of approximately $108,600, securing its position as the 5th richest nation in the world. This ranking is a classic example of the ratio effect seen in high-income microstates, a modest total economy that becomes massive when divided by a tiny population of approximately 380,000 people. While it may lack the sheer economic weight of global giants, Iceland is economically big for its size, leveraging a specialized model that concentrates high-value wealth among its small citizenry. The engine behind this prosperity is a unique combination of abundant renewable energy and niche industrial specialization. Iceland capitalizes on its natural landscape to generate vast amounts of cheap green electricity, which it uses to power energy-intensive sectors like aluminum smelting and crypto mining. This ability to export energy-dense products and services allows the nation to punch far above its weight in global markets. Alongside this industrial base, a thriving tourism sector provides a significant second pillar of revenue, turning the island's natural beauty into a consistent source of foreign capital that directly inflates the average economic output per resident. Beyond the raw figures of GDP, Iceland represents a nation where wealth is translated into genuine resident well-being, as evidenced by its 5th place ranking on the 2026 Hello Safe Prosperity Index with a score of 72.23. This index reflects a balanced economy by looking past paper wealth to account for quality of life factors such as the Human Development Index, HDI, life expectancy, and low poverty rates. While its nominal GDP is high, its gross national income per capita is estimated at a more grounded $78,500 by the Atlas method. This figure, while lower than the GDP, remains among the highest in the world and underscores that a substantial portion of the wealth generated by its energy and tourism industries stays within the local economy to support one of the world's highest living standards. Number 4. Switzerland. By 2026, Switzerland is projected to maintain its elite status as the world's 4th richest nation, with a nominal GDP per capita reaching approximately $118,200. Unlike some of the micro-states that dominate the top of these rankings, Switzerland sustains this level of wealth with a population of roughly 8.7 million people, proving that it punches above its weight through extreme economic efficiency and industrial specialization. While its nominal figures are among the highest on Earth, the sources note that adjusting for purchasing power parity, PPP, provides a more grounded perspective on the actual standard of living. In these terms, the figure is estimated at around $91,000. This distinction is crucial because Switzerland's notoriously high cost of living means that even a 6-figure average income may not afford the same lifestyle as a lower income might in a less expensive country. The engine behind this immense prosperity is a sophisticated blend of a famed banking industry and a world-leading high-value manufacturing sector. Switzerland remains a global finance powerhouse, with Zurich consistently identified as one of the 2 largest financial centers in Europe, despite the nation remaining outside of the European Union. This financial prowess is matched by a specialized industrial base that focuses on low-volume, high-margin goods, specifically pharmaceuticals, precision instruments, and luxury goods. The country's economic integration is further evidenced by its role as a critical trading partner for the EU. It accounts for 8.3% of the Union's exports and 5.7% of its imports, reinforcing its status as an indispensable pillar of global commerce. Beyond raw economic output,
Switzerland is distinguished by genuine wealth retention and a consistently high quality of life for its residents. Its gross national income, GNI, the metric measuring the income that actually stays with residents and businesses, is estimated at roughly $95,900 per capita. This relatively narrow gap between GDP and GNI indicates that, unlike specialized corporate hubs like Ireland, the majority of Switzerland's wealth is generated and retained for the benefit of its own population. Consequently, the nation ranks fourth globally on the 2026 Hello Safe Prosperity Index with a score of 72.46, a ranking that looks beyond paper wealth to account for life expectancy, education, and income equality. This holistic success confirms that Switzerland is a truly high-income nation where economic prosperity is deeply felt across its society.
Number 3. Ireland. By 2026, Ireland is projected to achieve a staggering nominal GDP per capita of approximately $135,200, securing its place as the third richest nation in the world. This economic performance is almost exclusively driven by a robust foreign direct investment model, acting as the premier European headquarters for global technology and pharmaceutical giants such as Apple, Google, and Pfizer. The concentration of this wealth is particularly evident in regional clusters. For instance, the Eastern and Midland region of Ireland reports a GDP per capita reaching 268% of the EU average, while the southern region stands at 217%. This growth trajectory is not a new phenomenon, but the result of sustained momentum, highlighted by a historic 2015 growth rate of 25.1%, which remains one of the highest recorded in the European Union. However, senior business analysts caution that these figures require a reality check due to the unique distortions of the Irish economy. There is a profound gap between the nation's GDP and its gross national income, GNI, with the latter estimated at a much more modest $77,900. This disparity, often referred to as a leprechaun economics effect, occurs because a significant portion of the recorded product consists of corporate profits that are booked in Ireland for tax purposes, but ultimately leave the country as dividends to foreign shareholders. In fact, Ireland's GDP has historically hovered between 140% and 150% of its modified GNI, prompting the Irish Central Bank to develop specialized metrics to strip out these multinational distortions and provide a more accurate reflection of the income that actually stays with local residents. Despite these statistical complexities, Ireland continues to translate its corporate attractiveness into genuine resident prosperity. The nation ranks second globally on the 2026 Hello Safe Prosperity Index with a score of 75.06, a metric that moves beyond raw output to include quality of life factors and income equality. While the nominal GDP might overstate the daily experience of the average citizen, Ireland maintains a relatively equitable society, evidenced by a Gini coefficient of 27.9, which is significantly more balanced than other large economies like the United States. This unique economic structure allows Ireland to remain a global growth engine, successfully leveraging its tax-attractive status to support high living standards and a highly educated, high-productivity workforce.
Number 2. Luxembourg. By 2026, Luxembourg is projected to maintain its position as one of the world's most affluent nations, with a nominal GDP per capita of approximately $154,100. This staggering figure is primarily driven by its role as a premier global financial center, hosting an outsized banking sector and a massive concentration of investment funds that manage trillions of dollars. With a relatively small population of roughly 645,000 people, Luxembourg benefits from a significant ratio effect, where a massive economic output, generated largely by international commerce and investment-friendly policies, is divided among a small number of residents. This allows the microstate to consistently punch above its weight, often outranking global economic giants like the United States and China in terms of average prosperity per person.
A deeper business analysis reveals that while the nominal GDP is remarkably high, it is subject to a unique commuter effect and corporate distortions that necessitate a closer look at residents' actual income. A significant portion of Luxembourg's GDP is generated by cross-border workers who commute into the country daily. These individuals contribute to the national economic output, but are not counted in the population divisor, which artificially inflates the per capita GDP figure. Consequently, the nation's gross national income per capita, which measures the wealth that actually stays with residents, is estimated at a more grounded $91,500 via the Atlas method. This gap underscores the high volume of net income outflow directed toward foreign entities and neighboring labor markets, prompting analysts to caution that GDP figures should be taken with a grain of salt when evaluating the standard of living for local citizens. Despite these statistical nuances, Luxembourg remains an exemplar of fiscal stability and holistic social prosperity within the European Union. The nation maintains an exceptionally low public debt to GDP ratio of just 25.5%, providing it with a degree of economic resilience and flexibility that few developed nations possess. Furthermore, it ranks third globally on the 2026 Hello Safe Prosperity Index with a score of 74.39. Notably, this marks the first time in the index's history that Luxembourg was bumped out of the top spot, currently trailing Norway and Ireland. As a core NUTS 1 region, Luxembourg's regional GDP per inhabitant is estimated at 245% of the EU 27 average, reinforcing its standing as the undisputed financial heartbeat and one of the most stable welfare states on the European continent.
Number 1. Liechtenstein. By 2026, Liechtenstein stands as the undisputed global champion of individual prosperity, with a projected nominal GDP per capita of approximately $246,700. This staggering figure places the microstate at the absolute pinnacle of world wealth rankings, positioning it nearly $100,000 ahead of its closest sovereign competitor, Luxembourg. The foundation of this economic miracle is a classic manifestation of the ratio effect common in micronations, a highly concentrated and productive economy divided by a population of under 40,000 people. In Liechtenstein's case, the nation is economically big for its size, ensuring that its specialized total output translates into an astonishing average for every resident. The nation's extraordinary wealth is fueled by a specialized economic engine that masterfully balances high-end manufacturing with a world-class financial sector. Unlike many other financial hubs that rely primarily on banking, Liechtenstein has successfully carved out a niche in high-tech manufacturing and precision industry. This industrial output is complemented by a robust wealth management sector, which flourishes under the country's famously favorable tax and regulatory regimes. These policies attract significant global capital and corporate interest, creating a high-output environment that generates massive revenue from international clients while maintaining a very small domestic footprint. On the global stage, Liechtenstein's position reinforces the 2026 trend where small, specialized economies significantly outperform massive industrial giants in per-person wealth. While it may lack the aggregate economic might of diversified colossi like the United States, its ability to concentrate wealth through niche industrial and financial services ensures a standard of living that is virtually unparalleled. Business analysts often note that while these figures represent a high average, they are partly a result of the nation's status as a corporate and financial haven, meaning the GDP includes wealth generated for global clients that is booked within its borders. Nevertheless, Liechtenstein's unique blend of sovereign financial expertise and industrial innovation firmly secures its title as the world's richest nation per capita.
Why do small countries dominate? It's a simple ratio effect, a disproportionately large GDP divided by a very small population. Whether it's through being a tax haven like Luxembourg, having natural resource wealth like Norway, or specialized high-value industries like Switzerland, these nations prove that you don't need a large landmass to generate massive per-person wealth. Before you pack your bags, remember that GDP per capita is an average. It doesn't account for income inequality.
A country can be rich on paper while wealth is concentrated in a few hands. Additionally, nominal GDP doesn't account for the cost of living. In places like Switzerland or Norway, your dollar might not go as far as it would in a country with lower local prices. The economic landscape of 2026 shows us that while the US and China lead in total power, the highest average prosperity is found in the world's most specialized, small economies. Which of these 10 countries surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments.